It's often said that we all talk about educated people, qualified people should join politics. And it's actually important, and we have a live example here. Someone from IIT Kharagpur who did his BTech and MTech from IIT Kharagpur, then he was a professor, and now he calls himself as a greenhorn politician. We have the Odisha Sports Minister, Mr. Behera. And you know how important it is to have qualified people from Odisha, which was known as a place where starvation's rate used to happen. Today, it's a place where global sports events, they're regular here. Congratulations, Mr. Behera. It's wonderful. Now, talk to us about this sports culture. Sports culture is there almost in every part of the country. Of course, Odisha is very special. It has given the country so many legends. But this state patronization of sports and the culture that is growing, which has become an inspiring model for the rest of the country. How did this come? Where did the focus to patronize sports at such a big scale? Where did it come from?
It started after Honorable CM Sri Navin Patnaik took charge after 2000. If we compare the sports budget in 2000 and now in 2023, 2024, that was a voter accounts budget. So starting from 4 crore, now we have reached a whopping 1300 plus crore for sports department. If we consider
That's amazing.
Consider the budget, the national budget, it's approximately 3000 crore. I mean, comprising all states and union territories, and only the state budget is approximately 1300 plus crore. So that shows the commitment of Honorable CMC Navin Patnaik, his unwavering support to promote sports at national and international level, as well as fostering international collaborations and maintaining the sports infrastructure at global standard, international standard. So that makes sense how we have come up with a long journey. And now Honorable CM's visionary statement, sports for youth and youth for future, that makes sense, and that has driven us, including me, our sports secretary, and all sports professionals and officials, to work out day and night to make it a huge success. And now I would thank our Honorable CM that Odisha has emerged as a sports capital of India, and it is recognized as an international sports hub across the world.
At times it's easy to pump in money, but the more important part is proper implementation of various schemes. What has Odisha done differently when it comes to implementing this? Like you have pumped in money, you have built good infrastructure, all good, but quite often we hear in various parts of India that the money is not being properly used, and politicization of sports is another problem. What are you doing differently that the state is seeing that kind of revival in sports?
Well, I would say that propelling money or pumping money into the system, it's not an easy task. But again, the monitoring and the utility of all infrastructure, that makes sense, and that is a big challenge for us. But the biggest part is strategic partnership with national and international federations and with many companies, those who have invested in CSR activities, and also the collaboration among the local coaches and trainers. So there is a fine balance. At block level, Honorable CM instructed to build across 314 blocks, 314 stadiums. Then at district level, we have built integrated sports complexes at many district headquarters. And at international level, if we consider Raurkela and Bhubaneswar Kalinga Stadium, those two places comprise of many infrastructures of global standards. So we have focused on talent scouting at block level, then district level. Then we have taken up young talents to nurture, to train and to coach them at high performance centers as well. So the high performance centers in Odisha, in Kalinga Stadium specifically, they not only comprise local Odia guys or girls, but also they comprise from eastern region as well. So that makes Odisha different from other states, how we work and how our sports model works.
Srabani, you were the fastest one, probably last year you were again the fastest runner in the country. Yeah. 23 also you probably, you were, in Fed Cup you were the fastest one.
Yes, I got 2 gold medal in 200 and 100 meter in this in 2023 season. Yeah.
In fact, one of your 2 earlier gold medals,
yes,
it came in Guwahati, if I remember, my hometown.
Yeah.
So, coming from Odisha, you must have traveled other states and you have colleagues in other states. What are the differences that you see in the sports culture in Odisha and rest of the country? Why I'm asking you this question, this politicization of sports, you know, it has become a very important and controversial subject. But in Odisha, we are seeing the reverse. So, as a sports person, how do you see the changes in different states and versus Odisha?
I must say, in 2003, I started my sports career, and I started my international career in 2007. And I'm still competing. I am still training and running. So what difference I see is at that time when we used to go for a national competition, people used to ask me, which state are you from? I used to say Odisha. Say, where is that? But now they says, when I say Odisha, they respect us. That is the difference. So there is a huge difference in infrastructure. I used to train in Australia, South Africa, and Jamaica, but I decided to train for my 2024 season in Bhubaneswar Kalinga Stadium. And whatever technologically advanced equipments I have used in other country, and I was searching in Odisha if I can use the same thing in my training period, and everything I'm getting here. So I must say this is a huge difference from before and now, and athletes are getting so much of high technologically training, and coaches, infrastructure, training grounds. If you know the indoor Mondo track has just they made in Bhubaneswar Kalinga Stadium. So that is the biggest thing that athlete can train over there, and that is the fastest and latest in training surface. As we have synthetic track and Mondo track. Mondo is the fastest track. So we will get faster timing in that track. And inside Kalinga Stadium, we have a sports science center, which is amazing. And they have the latest technology in sports science center, which is helping a lot everyday basis. I use everyday basis the sports science center. I must say this. So this is the difference. I feel within myself that there is the biggest difference has happened.
Are you also seeing a change in how parents approach sports with the sports culture coming in, like whether the new age parents, they are encouraging children to get into sports, take it seriously as a profession? Have you seen that change happening in and around Odisha?
Of course, I can say my parents are here today, so they are along with me. That means parents are involving. My parents are involved long time because my father is a very keen to sports, and he organized sports too. But since then, I was not seeing any parents coming to stadium when their son or daughter trains. But now I'm seeing there is so many parents comes and watch their children training in the Kalinga Stadium and others district also. I am seeing that wherever we have synthetic track and we have the program of grassroots level program, I have been seeing that actually parents are coming and watching how they are training, where they have the interest, because in Kalinga Stadium they have so many other infrastructures, so they can actually approach their athlete ki if it is not happening in athletics, they can go to swimming. If the swimming is not happening, they can jump to gymnastics at the very earliest that is possible, where they can decide their career. So I have been seeing athletes, parents, they are coming and encouraging their athletes. And the most important, I feel why it is happening, because the prize money has raised, where the government has set for the the scheme they bring to us, that prize money system. So that is where actually athletes need that financial support, and it is helping and it is attracting as well.
Mr. John, before I ask you about Odisha, I read somewhere you said that Indian hockey players, they're very skilled in dribbling. But at the same time you said that in today's context, they should focus less on dribbling. Why did you say so?
It takes longer to run with the ball than to pass the ball. So passing, particularly now with the modern sticks and the power the players have, the ball will travel much faster across the ground or through the air than a person can run with it. So whilst dribbling is still part of the skill set of a hockey player, it's less so on the synthetic turf than it was on the grass.
Okay. Now coming back to Odisha, you were earlier with the national team. Now you are the director of Hockey Odisha. Do you see any difference in how the Hockey India used to run and how Hockey Odisha runs in terms of professionalism and other aspects?
I'd have to say we're much better. When I started in 2022, well, from 2020 we had 9 synthetic turfs in Orissa. Today we have 33. Each day we have around 3,000 young players training on these turfs. We have 60 grassroots coaches. So we have 2 to 3 grassroots coaches at each of these synthetic turfs assisting our young players to come. We have the High Performance Centre both here and at Rakala Sports Hostel with very good coaches supported by sports scientists and sports medicine. And only the national teams, outside of Orissa have this number of staff and number of facilities.
So when we compare what Odisha is doing, and it has been able to do certain things, why on the national front, when we take about other states also, because you have experience in India, where is the roadblock? Why things don't move faster in other parts of the country and why it's moving faster in Odisha in terms of sports?
I think our friend here.
No, he would answer, but as an outsider, you must have observed it from a neutral perspective.
Yeah, the clear investment that's been put into sports and youth by our Chief Minister is leading the way throughout the country. I mean, our sports budget is nearly the same sports budget as the national sports budget. So there's been a great investment put into infrastructure in the state, particularly in hockey. We're very lucky as a sport. It's the lifeblood of Indian hockey comes from Orissa, and we've invested a lot into the Sundiga community, but we're now making sure the investment goes throughout the whole state so everyone can benefit, and in the future you'll see many, many players come out of this state to represent India. The most recent is only 16 years of age. Sunalita Topo, I spotted 12 months ago, and her progression to the senior women's national team, she made a debut here at Kalinga Stadium 10 days ago, is amazing. Unfortunately for athletics, I stole her from athletics. She was a very good athlete, and we taught her some hockey skills. And her auntie represented the country, Anupa Bala, so she had a passion for hockey. But she's one of the next group of talented young athletes to come from this state to represent India in hockey.
So when it comes to ODI players, means in hockey they have given the country several legends in the past, but among the upcoming players, what is special that you have noticed among ODI players in terms of hockey skills?
Traditionally they've been very good defenders. The best defenders, Deep Grace Eka, Barendra Lakra, Dilip Turkey, Amit Rodas currently, Dipson Lakra, Lilima Mins, Sunita Lakra, they're all defenders. So we have a very strong tradition of defenders from this state. We're trying to now produce more midfielders, and Sunalita is a midfielder. Jyoti Chatri plays in midfield, another young girl who's just made her debut for the Indian senior women's team. And we need some more strikers. So the emphasis at the moment is on drag flicking. We have an excellent young goalkeeper who I think in the next 4 years will play for India, and that possibly one of the first goalkeepers from this state to play for the Indian men's team. He could take Srijesh's position in the future, and some very good strikers. We're looking to try and develop strikers and goalkeepers.
Mr. Behera, now you have showcased what actually the government can do. So what are the plans for next 5 years? If we talk about a blueprint, where do you want to see Odisha in next 5 years in terms of sports?
Well, since we have hosted an array of events, many marquee events at international level and national level, now our focus is to diversify. Now we want to diversify into other disciplines as well, apart from hockey, football, athletics, swimming. And also, Honorable CM wants to diversify into indigenous sports, which is assimilated in our culture, like Kho-Kho and Kabaddi. So, we have participated in Ultimate Kho-Kho. And also, we want to foster international collaborations and want to invest more in sports science, since science is the, collaboration with scientific equipments as well as individual players require technology, since the 360-degree profiling of any player, be it badminton, be it hockey player, be it cricketer, that plays a major role to enhance his capability. So we want to diversify not only into different disciplines, also we want to invest more in sports science. So I hope to fulfill Honorable CM's vision for next 4-5 years. We want to see more players in Olympic table, as well as our players should be included more in national teams.
Now, it's often said that politicians should not take charge of all these sports federations. That's a very common criticism that we hear everywhere. How do you defend that argument, like being a politician yourself, now that you have showcased that when the politicians, when the people in power, they take initiative, they can actually move things faster. So what would be your suggestions to your counterparts in different parts of our country who are heading sports federations and which are not producing great results?
Well, my personal opinion would be, if a politician has some idea on any specific discipline, he should take charge, because it's not about the technicality of the sports, it's about administration and giving an equal platform to all players. Like they should not interfere in selection, or they should not interfere in how the coach or selectors, how the management they behave or they utilize the resources, specifically the persons who are our champions, who are raising tricolors at national and international level.
Srabani, as a player, of course, Odisha has done tremendously well when it comes to managing sports. But as a player, what would be your 2-3 suggestions that you would like to straightway give to the Honorable Minister, because he is here right in front of you. If you think that as the next step, now the state has done so good in last 20 years, but as the next big step, what would be your suggestions for the future generations?
I mean, there is a lot has done, but there is still, we are growing and we are rising. So obviously we are learning. So I must ask sir if it is possible to set up a research center, sports research center, which will create a lot of sports persons, sports coaches, sports techniques. And as I must say, hockey director sir is here, and he knows that sports is more like a physics. and also included many science, like if you talk about nutrition, your physiotherapy, and everything includes science. So if we can have a research center, we can create technologically more techniques. So yes, that would be my request if it is possible.
Mr. Behera.
See, now we have come up with India's largest sports science center, which is in Kalinga Stadium. As he said, we would like to come up with research that makes sense. But one thing I would say that now we are focused on how we would develop our players into a team. When an individual plays, more of technology plays a significant role. Like I said, 360-degree profiling of a player is required. But now, since recently Honorable CM has inaugurated that Sports Science Center, I will accept the idea. Like she said, we will come up with research capabilities, not only in sports science, as well as in physiotherapy and adaptation of technology amongst the young players.
Mr. John, what I want to understand from you, this Australian sports culture, means whenever we have seen a big ticket event, Australian team, whether it's cricket team, hockey team, junior team, senior team, they know how to play pressure games. I believe it is something in the culture, how they are taught. What is in India that Indian players should be taught, or you think that in our sports culture, maybe it's missing? That killer instinct in a pressure game, maybe in a final or in a crucial game. How do you see the difference in the approach towards a pressure game between Australian players back home and Indian players here?
There's two factors. One is physical education in schools in most developed countries is very different to India, even though physical education is now being introduced to India in the last 2 to 5 years, more so than previously. So all of our primary school and secondary school students are used to playing competitive matches on a week-to-week basis. So they have these competitive matches between schools, between districts, between clubs every weekend, and you develop a competitive nature through this. And in my sport in particular, in hockey, most of the top 4 or 5 countries, apart from India, have a domestic league where they play week-to-week matches, home and away matches. For instance, the Dutch league is one of the strongest in the world, and their top 4 teams would probably beat a lot of countries in the world. At this point in time, India doesn't have an infrastructure like this. We're trying to develop one in this state. We'll be the first state to have a home and away competition. We're starting with our under-16 grassroots areas, where they'll play home and away each week. And in time, it will take time, but in time, you develop these competitive instincts that will hold you in great stead as you come up through the national teams.
You also said that 2028 will be a great time for Indian hockey. Do you think that's happening? You made that statement some time back, but do you think we are moving in that direction, or you think it might take some more time?
So when I started in 2016 as the high performance director, my plan was actually to achieve the best results in Paris. So I think for the men's team, their window is right open, even though the competition will be very strong. I think there's a top 8 teams that can all medal. And one of the best indicators is happening tonight at Bursa Munda, because Australia play India, and Australia is in the pool of India at the Olympics. So India has a very strong pool. Australia, Argentina, Belgium are all in their pool. So the top 6 or 8 teams are very close. It'll be difficult. The importance of developing our junior program, which gives the senior programs depth, is very important for hockey. For the first time, India sent away an under-16 international boys and girls team. So they selected an international under-16 team. Rani Rampal was coach of the women and Sardar Singh was coach of the men. And they went to Netherlands and played equal age groups. And this has to continue for the future. Our state, we're particularly lucky with the funding. We sent our under-17 boys and girls to Kuala Lumpur to play an international tournament. And our boys were successful. They beat Australia, a full Australian team, a full South African team, and both Malaysian teams were undefeated. And our girls beat Australia and South Africa. We only lost to Japan. So we're particularly lucky that we can have that international competition, and our youngsters will develop have benefit from playing international teams.
But what happens when they graduate to the senior level?
One of the things we're trying to change is the education of the player. So fundamentally language. Generally, we have a foreign coach who is not Hindi speaking or Odi speaking. So for a player from this state to understand firstly the language, the new structure, the new style that's being incorporated by the coach, they have to understand the language of English. So at our high performance centre, particularly the one here at Kalinga, all of the young students that are there, all of the young hockey players are learning English, and that holds them in good stead. So speaking with Sunalita Topo now, her English is very good, and it's one of the reasons she was advanced quickly to the senior women's team, because she could understand the way the senior women's coach wanted them to play.
The government at the central level, we are talking more about learning your mother tongue and education in your mother tongue. And Mr. John is saying that for sports improvement, the understanding of English is important. Do you agree that, and is your government doing anything to impart English education or at least foreign language in, among Odia sports persons?
Yeah, definitely. Now we try to inculcate the sense of learning different languages. Also, they need an exposure. In Kalinga Stadium, high-performance centers, we have done that. But apart from that, those kids who are being trained at grassroots level, at district level, they also require this learning of new languages, and also how to tackle the pressure on field. So that is a different thing. But I would suggest our players, be it at national level, be it at international level, they require much more exposure so that they can play. When they play outside India, they require the skill how to gel up with player from different cultural thing. So that is a difficult thing. But in a team game or in a team sports, you definitely require that.
Srabani, do you agree? You can speak English. Do you think that has helped you progress as a sports person compared to some other players who probably can't speak the language?
Well, when you have a foreign coach like English speaking or other language speaking coach, then you normally don't understand what they're trying to say. So that is the gap where you want to, what you want to do and what they are saying to do. So definitely you have to understand, you need to learn either the person, whatever language is speaking, to learn that language, or yeah, the coach's language. I must say that coach's language, yes.
Last question to Mr. John, and a very short answer, no diplomatic answer. How do you see India's prospect in hockey, India's prospect in Paris Olympics?
They'll definitely make quarterfinal, but it's likely in the quarterfinal they will either play Germany, Great Britain or Holland. So in the crossover will be very difficult. Regardless of which of those three opponents it is, it'll be difficult. We've seen in the last two matches against Holland, they've both been draws and gone to shootout. We have a very good goalkeeper. I think Srijesh will go again to Paris, whether he goes as the reserve or the main keeper, and he's very good at shootouts. But it'll be a very close competition. The temperature is going to be extremely hot in Paris, and our fitness levels and we are very used to playing in those temperatures, unlike other European countries, and this might be an advantage. They play 8 matches in 11 days, so our fitness, I think, will play a part.
Thank you so much. I have actually run out of time. It was such an interesting session, and I hope Indian hockey team can prove you wrong. At least they can move to final and probably win a gold. Thank you all for being here. It was wonderful having you here. Thank you.
The efforts taken to ensure the sports players don't focus on just the skills, but also develop their linguistic skills as well as mental resilience are quite worthwhile. So everyone, a big round of applause for the panelists.